Okay, let's just get back to matters on hand at Twickenham this afternoon, because what a massive game we have in store for you. And let's just run you through the teams for this afternoon's encounter, starting with Northampton. They feel the more experienced of the two sides, with 14 internationals in the starting 15. Only Grant Seeley has never received full representative honours. 7 of this side were losing finalists in 2000. And guys, just how important is the experience like that going into an encounter as big as today?
I think experience is very important. You know, in front of a big crowd here, there's a lot of experienced players there that have played a lot of test match rugby in front of large numbers. And coming to the cup final here today, Northampton definitely having the edge in that department.
Well, there's no guarantee, Mike. I mean, I remember watching you when you played with Saracens here, and it's very different to playing international rugby. These are guys you work with all year, and if things don't start well, no matter how many caps you've got, sometimes it's like, what are we doing here? And London Irish have got to say to themselves, we can't worry about the number of caps, we've got to get into these guys. If they stand off and say, oh look, from Dawson through to Olivier Bruze, all that experience, we've had it.
Well, for London Irish, as Stu was saying, the experience less apparent. Plenty of youngsters included by Brendan Fenter, and only Chris Sheesby has played in the Twickenham Cup Final before during his time at Harlequins. It's a massive afternoon for all concerned. And Michael, who for you are the key men for the Exiles?
Well, all year, London Irish have depended on their back row and Venter at number 12. They're the keys here, both in attack and defence. And if Sheesby can get going forward and Venter off his shoulder, and also Venter as coach and sort of the chief defender in the backs, if he can organise the backs there, they're going to be in with a chance. Also, all year we've said it, Ryan Strudwick, the captain at number 4 there, a great player and very much underrated.
Well, there is the skipper, the player coach, Brendan Fenter, of course. What a massive afternoon it is for him as well. He sort of underplays the experience of his side, but he'll lead from the front, or look to lead from the front this afternoon, Stuart.
Yeah, but in a way on the back foot, because Mike has touched on it. I think it's about defensive coordination from London Irish's point of view. If they're going to win this, they've got to nullify Northampton. I don't think they can outplay Northampton in attack. What they might just do is absorb what Northampton throw via Fenter, and Everett can kick his penalty. So that's the way I think they'll be trying to win this cup final.
Well, his captain Ryan Strudwick, of course, will play a key role as well this afternoon, but it is London Irish fans that are pouring into Twickenham, as well as the Northampton men who have made the journey down the M1 this afternoon. 75 coaches worth as the Saints go marching in. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue the build-up to the 31st National Cup Final. Northampton and London Irish will be going through their final preparations for this, the Powergen Cup Final at Twickenham. Kick-off just 20 minutes or so away now. And the atmosphere, of course, is building as well. Around and about the stadium itself, the crowds pouring in from Twickenham, from the station there. You can see them making their way towards the famous old stadium. And this is a little bit nearer to where we are at the moment. The West Car Park, as usual, is jam-packed. Picnics and plenty of booze, you would have thought, as well, being served this afternoon. Dowie has replaced Stuart. We will be talking to Dowie in a few moments' time. But at the moment, we know that 75 coaches worth of Saints fans have come marching into Twickenham this afternoon. But one famous fan who's had to stay away is Dion Dublin, for work reasons. That is, of course. He'll be keeping one eye glued to the box. And earlier this week, he spoke to our reporter, Tracy McKay.
The latest rugby league crossover, perhaps? Not quite. Actually, you might recognise him better with a different shaped ball. Nowadays, when Dion Dublin's not scoring goals for Millwall, he can be found catching up on the latest scores from Northampton Saints.
I tend not to watch too much football when I go home. Otherwise, it's like, you know, going from work to work, and I'm not relaxed watching a game of football. I'm watching what the guy on the ball is doing, the guy off the ball is doing. So I tend not to relax watching a game of football. Whereas a game of rugby, I can relax and have a beer and enjoy it a little bit more.
It was a chance meeting with Matt Dawson 5 years ago that got the star hooked, and they've been firm friends ever since.
I've been to watch him play, and he's been to watch me play once, I might like to say. I've been to see him play a few times, you know, at Twickenham and at the Saints, at Franklin's Garden. So, yeah, I support him more than he supports me, put it that way.
That's because he's got more clubs than Tiger Woods, that's why. No, I support Dion wherever he plays, so I'm a Millwall supporter at the moment. But now, unfortunately, we don't get to see each other play too often because we're often playing at the same time. But I know that he does like to sneak down now and again and sit in the box and have a few prawn sandwiches.
But where the cup final is concerned, Dawson might be happier if Dublin stays at home. Results when he has been to watch haven't been good, especially against the Irish.
I've been to about 5 games in the last 2 seasons, and unfortunately for me, those 2 games that 2 of those games I've been to see were against London Irish, and they lost both games, 1 league and 1 cup game. So come Saturday's game, I'm not sure whether to go along and hopefully I'll get rid of this omen, or if I go again and they lose, I know I'm going to get the blame for it.
Aside from Dawson, Dion has a few other favourites at Franklin's Gardens.
I do like Nick Beale, I must admit. I think Nick brings something different to the team. I think he can create from a long way back on the pitch, and he's only 22. He can still conjure up something, and with Grace's brain as well. I know that, you know, hopefully on Saturday he's going to do something special as well.
So come on then, give me a prediction for Saturday.
If I dare, I don't know if I do dare. He said to me, they're gonna want a prediction off you, Dion. You know that, don't you? That's what Dawson said to me. Northampton will win by 10 on Saturday. Ooh. I'm quite confident of that. I'm really quite confident.
So Dion Dublin convinced of the score. You never know, though, Dion. Keep glued to the screens. It may well be the English Cup final this afternoon, but there's no doubt who the whole of Ireland will be supporting. And one avid Exiles fan is more used to the fences than the posts, and early this week he caught up with Graham Simmons.
1,699 winners, 3 times the champion jockey, twice a winner of the Grand National. You would think he'd know how to handle a big occasion by now. But today, as his London Irish side ride into Twickenham, Richard Dunwoody will be a nervous wreck.
I'll be hopping up and down like everyone else, I should think. I'm terrible.
Worse than a race day?
I'm a terrible spectator. I hate watching. I want to be doing. I don't want to be watching. And yeah, I get a bit taken away by it all.
Well, horse racing and rugby might seem a strange combination, but Richard Dunwoody clearly recognises and relishes the rough and tumble of both. Pedigree horses, after all, not that different to pedigree rugby players.
They're quite highly strung now and again, but yeah, certainly they can have you on the deck as quick as look at you, you know.
That sounds exactly like Chris Sheesby. Highly strung, can have you on the deck in 2 seconds.
2 seconds, that's it. Yeah, but they are very, very different characters, and some can be great and will look after you all day long, but others will kick you as soon as look at you.
Well, rugby first grabbed him when he was at school in Cheltenham, Saturday afternoons in the shed at Gloucester. Racing's gain might just have been rugby's loss.
Started off in the scrum at age 11. By the time I left school, I was out in the wings, so yeah, I enjoyed it. I love playing rugby at school.
Was that size or cowardice that had you moving further away from the scrum?
I'd like to say it wasn't cowardice. I think we were all right in that score, but it was just size. The only thing, I wouldn't have been the quickest on 2 legs.
Well, as a season ticket holder at London Irish, he's obviously optimistic about today's game. It's only a 2-horse race after all, but as you'd expect, he's been studying the form, and Northampton are clearly worrying him.
Probably I've watched rugby closer this season than any season before, and the runs of form this year, and how Northampton were really, before Christmas, were struggling, and how all that's Gloucester were in great form, and how that's all sort of like swung around now. And Northampton were pretty awesome the other day, weren't they?
Well, he may not be riding anymore, but he's still pretty busy. London Marathon last week, 3 hours 10 minutes. The Arctic Circle next week, a 150-mile trek across Baffin Island in aid of the Motor Neurone Disease Association.
No, quite a few people in racing have been affected by it. The first trainer who gave me a winner, Colin Nash, he died of motor neuron. And Phil Such, who's a rugby correspondent for the Mail, he is suffering from motor neuron disease, so it's a very, very worthy cause.
Well, the Arctic Circle might just be the best place to go should Irish lose this afternoon. Should they win, though, doubtless Mr. Dunwoody will be serenading the nearest polar bear with a chorus or 2 of the fields of Athenry.
Well, he keeps himself busy. I think both of them do. Dion Dublin as well. Dowie, you've been outside today. You've witnessed the atmosphere that you can see out there. Have you ever seen Twickenham like this in so many years for the Powergen Cup Final?
No, because the sun is shining. The conditions are absolutely perfect out there. We had a great game between Exeter and Rotherham. Exeter started very, very well. And I mean, I've just come down from obviously the commentary box and fought my way through the crowds. The Guinness is flowing out there. The party atmosphere is absolutely magnificent. Like I said, a beautiful day, and I'm looking forward to what should be a cracking 80 minutes.
Yeah, two great set of supporters too,
Yeah.
London Irish and Northampton. You know, they love their teams and they love having a great time, particularly the Irish supporters. And look at them there. It's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great day.
But the thing is, that people say about the Cup, or you know, a couple of years ago, the Cup's going to die, and this, that, and the other. It's all about, you know, thank you to the supporters. The players want to go, and that guy wants to win some silverware. He didn't do it with the European Cup, Matt Dawson. So it's a big day for the players. You can say it isn't that important. It is. I can assure you, it is. It's a massive day.
And of course, Matt Dawson renewing his acquaintance with the man he's played so much rugby with, Paul Grayson. At the start of the season, he was the third choice fly half for Northampton. It seems that Wayne Smith has turned his fortunes around.
I'll talk about the scrum half, you talk about the fly. I think Matt Dawson, for once, is concentrated on his rugby. I think Wayne Smith has basically said to him, you know, you get that ball out, stop talking to the referee, stop throwing your arms up, get it away, and you can see the difference in his game, Michael, and then combine that with Grayson's, well, the difference in Grayson's game has been unbelievable.
I think that the key person in all this has been Wayne Smith. He used to play fly half for the All Blacks as well, and I think he's changed the way these guys thinking. Paul Grayson is playing very well with a lot of confidence, but it's also the guys outside him. Peter Jorgensen, you know, by his standards, had a pretty average year so far, but scored 5 tries in the last 4 games, and the confidence of the whole team, and indicated by Grayson, indicated by Grayson's confidence, is really showing, and I think that's down to Wayne Smith.
It definitely, but it comes through the forwards. You know, he's got the forwards. They've got a big bruising pack of forwards. Northampton always have. Northampton's always got a bruising pack of forwards, but you know, they've just let themselves down. All of a sudden, they're on the gain line. And it's sort of 6, 7, 8. You know, the Blowers, the Pountneys, and that's it. But don't take anything away from London Irish. They've got some cracking forwards as well, so they've got a good competitive edge.
Well, I was going to bring up that point. What about London Irish? Conor O'Shea, Brendan Venter, playing absolutely everything down this season, taking each game as it comes. They're not going to be just taking this game as it comes. They said the message was go out there and enjoy themselves. Do you think they can?
Go out and enjoy themselves and make sure you win. That's the thing. That is the thing that's going to go through that changing room. It's a big day again for them, but you know, they've got this far. And you know, Kitch Christie said, I think in '95, the World Cup to Pienaar, basically, you know, you get to finals, you don't lose finals, and that's what the attitude will be out there from both sides. But they've got the capability to do it. They've played a structured game all season, and it's a hard one to call.
Okay, let's get some predictions then. Dowie, your thoughts in the rugby club was Northampton on Thursday. Michael, would you agree with him?
Yeah, I do. I think Northampton are in great form at the moment. They've got more ways of winning the game. They can change. They've got some big match and experience in there. And for me, they will just edge it at the end. London Irish, you know, they've been a great team all year, but for me, Northampton are going to get there.
And Dowie, where's the game? Where's it going to be won?
Just the form lines. I think they're very, very concerned, London Irish, about the actual busting of Blowers and Pountney close to that ruck and maul, and then Grayson taking it flat. They're not too worried about out wide. It's the close rucking and the maul, and then the power of Blowers.
Okay, 75,000, as we keep on saying, a full house expected at headquarters this afternoon. It is an electric atmosphere. We can hardly hear ourselves think in the studio up here, and the entertainment is out on the pitch as well. It promises to be a cracking game of rugby. Certainly on paper it would seem to be as well. The two sides, they've met 18 times before in the League and Cup, with Northampton leading the way 11-6, and there's been 1 draw. But statistics usually get thrown out of the window come Cup Final day. Certainly Irish will be hoping that is the case today. Whatever happens though, let's hope it lives up to its billing. Talking us through this, the 31st National Cup Final, Stuart Barnes and Miles Harris.
It's 22 years since Irish first played in a Cup Final, and then a record crowd of 27,000 were here. It's 11 years since Northampton made their Cup Final debut. 53,000 spectators were here to witness that match. And now, as the clubs meet in 2002, all around us we have the evidence of the steady progression of the club game. Just about a full house, and a new name guaranteed to be on the trophy, Stuart.
Yeah, London Irish have been so efficient all season, and they're the overall form team for this year, but the Saints, they are really marching at some pace at the moment. This could be an electric club game of rugby.
So a great experience this for all the players, but having said that, Northampton can select a side brim full of men with big match know-how. 14 internationals will wear the chain strip of maroon. Number 8 Grant Seeley is the odd one out, but his performance in the semi-final win over Newcastle had the stamp of international authority all over it. He joins captain Butch Poutney and New Zealander Andrew Blowers in a multi-skilled back row. Seeley, like second row Johan Ackerman of South Africa, has recovered from a shoulder injury. Six Nations stars Tom Smith and Steve Thompson weren't required for that home semi-final, but they're both in the front row for the final. Well, if Northampton are very much the informed Premiership side, then Irish can point to admirable consistency this season. Now it's time to gain some reward for their efforts. There's no Paul Gustard in their back row to help in that aim. Gustard, so influential since his arrival from Leicester on loan, is cup-tied. Eddie Helvey, his able replacement in the semi-final victory against Harlequins, returns to Twickenham, having played here for Munster versus Northampton in the European Cup Final 2 years ago. Lock Steve Williams, set to join the Saints at the end of the season, tries to beat his next employers. There are 6 South African-born players in the starting 15, including coach Brendan Fenter and captain Ryan Strudwick. There's a big contrast on the Northampton bench with no internationals here, the emphasis on youth. At 20 years of age and 19 stone, prop Robbie Morris is the youngest and heaviest member of the Northampton squad. For Irish, not their usual 3 front row replacements, their prop Neil Hatley not quite fit enough, and James Brown is required as a backup kicker should anything happen to the prolific Barry Everett. Both sides had their scares in getting here. Northampton won by just 2 points in a tense quarter-final at Saracens. The Irish, well, they were 27-0 up in the semi-final at Quins. They saw that lead whittled away, and somehow they came back to get the winning score and take their place in this, the 31st National Cup Final. A gritty recovery which says so much about Irish this season. And Northampton, they've been turned around by Wayne Smith. All at the club, totally impressed. Same players, different team.
Yeah, they've been touched by a New Zealand coaching god almost in Wayne Smith. He's done the simple things well, and it's encapsulated in the turnaround of Grayson. Play flat, make the right decisions, bring your runners onto it. Simple rugby, it's made them so difficult to beat and so dangerous. Gloucester were overwhelmed last week. London Irish, they'll be smarter defensively, they'll need to be, Miles.
And ditto with the foreign coach for London Irish, Brendan Fenter, such a major influence for Irish this season. Ryan Strudwick all on his lonesome there, the captain. He'll need help. A club that was written off by so many at the start of the season, but under the expert guidance of Fenter, as we're saying, they come to Twickenham a match away from silverware. They've been playing down their chances all week. Second in the league to Northampton's 5th, but pointing to Northampton's recent excellence, the Irish determined to feel like the underdogs. Also equally keen to enjoy the day and see what happens, but you only really enjoy it if you win it.
Well, they won't be thinking like the underdogs, I'll tell you that. They'll believe they can win. Brendan Fenter will say, look at the league positions. We are second. We're here on right. This could be the greatest day in the club history of London Irish. Brendan Fenter may not be the most inspirational attacking force, but he has been a cement in defence.
Butch Poutney leading Northampton, one of 7 survivors from the cup final of 2 years ago. A day when the Saints were well beaten by the London Wasps, but they came back here just days later, remember, to take the European Cup, and that's the feeling that Poutney wants to rediscover, and that spirit. And the rugby town of Northampton is out in force to see their club try and win a domestic trophy for the first time. And what a week for Paul Grayson. Nearly didn't play. Twin boys born earlier in the week. Maybe he was blowing them a kiss. Alongside his old friend Matt Dawson at half-back. And that experience in key positions could be vital.
Yeah, and when they beat Munster in the European Cup Final, this team were physically in pieces. It was spirit, as you say, took them through. The difference today is that Northampton are in sparkling condition. London Irish, smart as any team in the league this year. Northampton in blazing good form. It should be a classic.
Irish caught a few by surprise early in the season, not now. They've been videoed, they've been analysed, they've been good. Here's the national anthem. Twice a cup final loser in the early 90s, back here at the age of 35 for his new club, London Irish, and he's got a new lease of life as well. So the formalities are over. Let the talk end and let the game begin. Twickenham spilling over with passion, split down the middle. It's a colourful sight, it's a beautiful day as well, it's made for a cup final. What a great day this is in the rugby calendar. And the man to take charge is Steve Lander. His third cup final in 7 years, famously pushed over by Neil Back in 1996. And also, when running the line last year, awarding that line out, which led to the controversial winning try for Newcastle right at the death. What a close affair that was. I wonder if this one will be as close. Some heavyweights of English rugby have been taken out by these two clubs. They'd love to be here, but only two can play in a final. The 2002 Powergen Cup Final, to be started by Paul Grayson of Northampton. So important to get a good start. Henty Martin's encouraging his pack here to almost make their way up to the 10-metre line. That's a good drive early on from the Irish pack. Martins goes in. Everett. And the referee gives his first decision against Johan Ackerman for being offside.
Well, that was a very good start from the London Irish pack, wasn't it? Because it was a hanging kick from Grayson. Was that captain Ryan Strudwick underneath it? Took it well. So important to make a good solid start. And Barry Everett now, a man with huge burden of expectancy on his shoulders, or should I say, his boot. And that is not a very good kick from Everett, but he's got away with it.
Well, it was a nervous start from Everett. His first time playing at Twickenham, and he'll be glad to get that one out of the system. But so often he's been the match winner for Irish this season, and in the Cup too. 22 points in the semi-final, 20 in the quarter-final. They like his boot. Narkodrotsky, the Springbok international, to Strudwick. Martins. Fenter takes it, often slips into that fly half roll, a real feature of the Irish play this season. It's back to Everett for the early drop goal. Well, it was worth a go to get on the board, but he was cramped.
It's been the London Irish way, though, hasn't it? They get in field position. They're not overly ambitious. They'll take any points. Nick Beale, a real scuff of a restart. Nervous opening minutes.
Nerves all over the place here. Up to Sheesby to calm things down. A typical Sheesby shunt early on. Martins, was that a knock-on? Yes, it was.
Saw the shape of London Irish early there as well, didn't you? Brendan Fenter taking the ball at outside half, but it wasn't a great pass from Henty Martins. And Fenter does fall off the ball sometimes. They'll need him pinning straight, committing Paul Grayson.
Two big sets of forwards, but it's Northampton with the weight advantage. Just about 3 stone. Of course, against Martins, the 2 scrum halves on the far side of that scrum. Matt Dawson, bang in form after injury. World class when it matters, that player, and it certainly matters today. And there's Seeley, went on loan to Bedford, came back a new player. Another player quick to point out the influence of Wayne Smith. And referee Lander making it clear that he will referee the match. And this time it's an Irish put-in. Northampton running into their own man, giving away the accidental offside.
Pretty good scrum there from Northampton. Very good scrum from Northampton. And they do have a strong scrummage in front row. Tom Smith, a Lion star. Steve Thompson. And of course Matty Stewart, also a Scottish international. And against them, Worsley, Drotsky and Hardwick, one of the most underestimated front rows in the Premiership.
You've never quite known who the first choice front row is for Irish this season. They've adopted a substitution policy, but of course when it comes to a cup final you tend to know them, because every side wants to get away well, and at the moment it's Northampton winning the exchanges up front, and that will be key. Grayson enjoying his rugby again. He'd slipped to number 3 in the fly half rankings at Northampton, but Wayne Smith said, "Are you a kicking coach or a player?" when he arrived, and Paul Grayson said, "Everyone is telling me I'm a kicking coach, but I think I can play. I can still do it right at the top of the game," and he's proved that he can.
Well, he's a great listener and he's a very dedicated rugby player. Perhaps not the most instinctive fly half ever to play for England, but he's playing beautifully at the moment.
Bruze's tap. This is John Leslie. Oh, and a good ball off to Jorgensen. Jorgensen going through, floated out, took an age to get to Beale. Wanted that ball straight at him. Grayson, Bruze, who won that line out. It was a good tap back, but that was a good response from London Irish. Pick and drive first of all. Pountney in the driving seat. Northampton into Irish territory, inside the 22 for the first time. Leslie, who created in midfield. He loves to unpick the hem of the opposition, and he did it then. Jorgensen, another one of the rejuvenated. This might break though for Fenter. It's hacked on by Bishop. It's a frantic start, but it's starting to promise, isn't it?
Certainly is. It's good stuff there from the Northampton backs. Dawson just flicks it away to Grayson, but just watch the timing of the passing now. Jorgensen comes late off Leslie. Leslie lured them in. Wasn't a great ball out to Bill, but that was the key. Leslie playing flatter, Jorgensen come in late. Good work from the Antipodean centre partnership.
Over the top of Everett, picked up by Fenter, who bravely sets it up, and he's turned over, and here's a chance for Northampton. Leslie, into Saki, might work for Irish. This is poor Saki, and he can sizzle. He's got tremendous pace, but he just couldn't get the ball away. Had he done so, Horak might have been away himself. Thrilling moment. It seemed that Northampton had the overlap. In stepped Saki, and the England A-man was almost away.
Well, I'll tell you what, Paul Saki does a brilliant job. You could see 3-1, but Saki, he decides he's got to come in and make it his. In with the ball, interception. We've seen him do that so often in the Premiership. And Northampton get back. Well, it's a frantic start to this game, isn't it? It's a 3-on-1. Leslie, he gives the ball to Jorgensen, except it's Saki, the flyer. Dawson does well to get back.
Very well, because Horak, had he taken that, he would have taken some catching. He was coming onto it at pace. And of course, Horak and Saki and Bishop, that back three has been one of the main Irish threats this season. When they've had the ball, they've shown their paces.
Oh, it can sizzle, and it's a hot old afternoon. Will really suit that back three of theirs.
a ripped jersey for Williams.
Another good dart from Seeley, and now Grayson, I think, territory, eats up some meat as well.
Grayson delighted to be back at Twickenham.
Perfect. I think he's in a good mindset for this game. All the vicissitude of the last year or so, you know, he's just had a couple of babies, he's relaxed, he's enjoying himself. It's ideal for him to just come out and play the game when so many people will be tense and nervous, not Grayson.
Helvey coming through at the line out. And he made the point that the babies weren't born deliberately on that day so that he could play in the final. It was a medical decision with a bit of rugby thrown in.
Just thinking, Ethan and Joel as well. I wonder if it's named after the Coen brothers. Superb film directors.
Moyer to Beale. There's Nick Beale. Give him a barn door, he'll try and knock it down, but he couldn't get through that time. But what he didn't do was lose possession. And now Blowers was on the ball for Northampton to keep the move flowing. Grayson to Coen. One man ex of England, Coen very much of the current England side. All about muscle here as Irish try and rip it back, but Northampton secure. Matty Stewart pushed down to the floor. Dawson's knock on this time, right in front of the referee. Dawson knows it. Man of the match in the semi-final against Newcastle, when Northampton was scintillating in that first half.
Yeah, London Irish this time outflanked, but there's never really any danger there. Bill's got no room to work in. I think it's down the middle we're seeing Northampton already trying to make little darts around that inside centre channel. Now Sheesby.
Just earned an extra year with London Irish, Chris Sheesby. And he deserves an extra year. They have got so much out of that man this season. And today he brings experience to the party. 2 cup finals for Harlequins in 92 and 93. And that's what he's been doing this season. And all 3 of those players in action today. Horak, Coen, Sheesby. And now Barry Everett is going for goal.
Now Barry Everett in his own half but within range, and it's made possible by this run from Chris Sheesby from the base. Well-wheeled scrum, opens it up, and look at the acceleration there. Charging 15 metres into penalty range.
And yes, range for Everett. He was inside his own half. 85% record this season. But he tried too hard there. Grayson kicking long. Sheesby, the man who created the penalty. It's a hungry start from Sheesby. He's in storming form. Saki. Martins. Everett. Not just a kicking fly half, a point made by the Irish staff this week. Drotsky offloading well in the tackle there. Martins again, finding Everett. Good flat ball from the fly half. Appleford was there, so was Strudwick, who does so much in the loose. Martins flicking the ball away quickly. Venter off the floor. It's along the line now. Chance here for Bishop. He's got Horak outside, but Bishop is going. His head down for the corner. What a tremendous run. Still might be there for the Irish. Martins arrives to scrum half. They wanted quick ball, but Northampton, as they do so well, slowed it down. And the referee will want a word. Guess who?
Twice now I've spoken to you. On your knees, you can't play the ball. Any more, I'm going to start using the bin.
I think, so close to the try line, second warning, Bud Pountney is very lucky not to get 10 minutes. It's an important few minutes coming up here. And it's very interesting that Irish so often say to Barry Everett, even from the touchline, take 3 points. He made a real hash of his first kick. I think Fenter's taking the pressure off his man. They've got to go for this drive here.
And Drotsky will throw. And Sheesby is the man, he dropped it early. Still a chance though as the hooker picks up. Needs the support of the big man. He was never going to make it by himself. Martins, now it's the backs. Everett, Fenter. Bishop off the wing. Oh, good offload! Appleford try! That's the first try of the final. And that's an explosion of support from the Irish fans.
Well, that's really fine play from the London Irish back line. They didn't become obsessed in trying to bash their way over close to the line out. It's beautifully worked. Fenter and Bishop, what a start from Bishop. What a start for Irish.
And the kick, a simple one for Everett. 7-0, courtesy of this score. It was a quality score.
Well, Fenter does the hold-up job. Bishop from nowhere, little overarm pass, short to Appleford, well worked. Fenter uses the strength, Bishop with a pace, and Appleford sluices over. The favourites behind, and Irish surge into the lead.
So often the creative element, Appleford, today the finisher. And what a great day to be the finisher.
Beautifully worked, try that one from the training ground, excellent stuff.
And now Irish will be walking tall. No more talk of underdogs. A poser for Northampton. And here's Beale. High, hanging ball. Sheesby is taking responsibility, but they need to sort it out because Horak was there as well. Nearly calamity. And that was good awareness from Everett. He sensed there was nothing around him. It was just the right time to put the ball into touch and let Irish take stock.
Yeah, some good decision-making all around. I thought Fenter not going for the penalty was outstanding. Now Horak's a full-back. He says to Sheesby, get out of my way. Good work from the full-back. That's what you want from your number 15. He's in command at the back. He took it.
Now one of the major features of Northampton's comeback in this season, where before Christmas they were losing so many, now winning so many, the combination in the second row of Ackerman and Bruce, you could see Ackerman at that line out, commanding. Grayson, good tackling from Irish though, they were swarming all over him, but just a little bit too keen. And Dawson, he likes a quick tempo.
I thought Barry Everett was about 3 metres offside there.
That's why Steve Lander gave the decision, and also why Matt Dawson brought his side an extra 10 metres, but in doing so, a bit unlucky there, Northampton. They've given away, again from the accidental offside, a put into the scrum.
Taking the support out of that.
They're just going back to Brendan Fenter and his role as a thinker within this team. I thought it was a great decision. Everett had made a real hash of one kick, as we said. He didn't say go for the touchline. He said, hey, we got to come away with something big here. And then he stood there himself, took the defenders, 2 men, popped it to Bishop. Super score. Great decision making.
Well, he's caused a revolution at the Irish club, and with Fenter in charge, of course, it's been an industrial revolution. He's a hard worker, and he's driven his side on, but the feeling of togetherness, the happiness as well at Irish this season, when you've been down to the club, it's been almost tangible. They're enjoying being a squad, and it shows on the field, and Fenter must take so much of the credit for that. Saki, the Northampton fans on that far side thought he just knocked the ball on the floor. The referee didn't. That's what matters.
No way.
And in at the side, Irish penalty. Finals for both of these sides before. Irish in 1980 when they lost to Leicester. Northampton back in 91 when they lost to Harlequins after extra time, and then 2 years ago against London Wasps when they were well beaten. Rather flattered by the scoreline in the end. great contrast to Everett's first kick. Remember the nerves early on, not now. He's settling into his game. A lot of family over from Ireland to see Barry Everett today. A lot of Irish fans have made the trip across the water.
And they will be heartened by this first quarter of the match. A couple of big surges from Northampton, but they've absorbed them, they've smothered them in London Irish's way, and they've come with a fine try of their own.
Good ball again from Sheesby. Chance to attack here. Lovely central position. Blowers has to be wary here. He was coming in from an offside position. He did well to take his hands off it, and it's just a scrum and not a penalty.
I'm interested to see what London Irish do here. They've got the bit between their teeth. Barry Everett is not going back into the drop goal position. You can see him left of the scrum. But look at Brendan Fenter. I mean, he's so close to the scrum. So tight to the scrum. Sheesby Fenter possibly.
Well, not yet, as the whistle goes. Referee not happy with the front row standing up. Can't point the finger. So he resets the scrum. Martins waits. Sheesby, the protector, the number 8. It goes to Fenter. Oh, and Horak's coming onto it at pace. Horak has got strength as well. Desperate defence from Northampton. Will it be enough? Sheesby has it. Couple of metres, and there are men on that side. Just the one defender. Doesn't matter because Horak has scored. And Irish, so incisive. They're taking their chances, as you have to do in a cup final. 12-0.
It's that man, Michael Horak. Yet again, we talked about him on the rugby club, scoring in that right-hand flank. He did it against Bath, he did it against Harlequins. He's done it again in the final. Irresistible stuff. Fenter and Horak. Horak with the first surge. You wonder whether Henty Martin should have let it go. Sheesby with the first surge. Northampton reorganises, but always on the back foot, and then Horak up and over. Bruce too tall to get low. What a start for the underdogs.
Now can Everett pile on the pressure for Northampton? Oh, he most certainly can. It's 14-0.
Well, that is a spectacular first quarter for London Irish. 14-0, and now Northampton have got to prove they can play their rugby under pressure. There's the hammer boot of Everett.
Northampton have been playing such stylish rugby since Christmas, where everybody's been touching the ball, they've been turning it on, but they'll have to do it now because they're trailing in the big one. Here's Moyer.
Well, what they've got to do now is do it on the back foot, so to speak. They're not in control as we saw them last week.
Grayson, Leslie. Crossing, penalty, everything going Irish way.
He ran across him. Obstruction.
It's almost like a home game, I suppose, for Irish. And their base in Sunbury, Twickenham, is closer than their ground in Reading. And they didn't change their routine. They all met down at the club this morning, short coach ride here. No hotel last night. And certainly no hangover.
Nice fizzing start from London Irish. Everett was nervous early on, but now he's in the groove as well. And you can see, because Northampton are on the back foot, they're conceding a lot of penalties, and they can't keep doing that because Everett will start to kick them.
Well, Wayne Smith says the target is 8 or less, and already it's mounting. They've got some big men as well in that front row. Hardwick, one of them. Trotsky, another, tries to help out, but Bruce got his big body in the way. And now Dawson has kicked, and he's asked Craig Moyer to chase after this, but there should be an Irish pair of hands first on the scene. There was good running from Appleford, but that's loose, and Everett needs to react quickly. And he gets the ball into touch. He gives, well, a suspicious glance as if to say, thanks a lot.
Northampton, thanks to that man, Olivier Bruze, got low very quickly to turn over ball, enabling Dawson to just put an easy kick down. And boy, do Northampton need a bit of territory. Something. Here it comes. Ball out. Look how quick Bruze is. Knocked Henty Martins off it.
Irish doing well, though, to disrupt at the line-out. They look like pouring through every time, and that's a worry to Northampton, because that, as we were saying earlier, has been such a major platform for them to be able to play their game. Now John Leslie, good shimmy from him, supported by international colleague Budge Poultney. And spoiling this time from Irish. They've got the decision, though. They've got the put-in. But that was typically John Leslie.
Grayson getting a little bit flat. Just a little scissor ball there to Leslie, and Leslie again makes an incisive dart. But at contact point, London Irish are getting more men there, and they're really spoiling Northampton's game, disrupting their rhythm and forcing the knock-ons.
Just on that penalty count point, Wayne Smith says that with the All Blacks, he'd never lost a game, or the All Blacks have never lost a game when they've conceded 8 penalties or less in the match. That's why he set the mark. It's a tall order, but I suppose the stats prove it.
That gives you control of the ball, doesn't it? At the moment, because of the errors that are being made as well, it's London Irish who are controlling most of the ball and taking territory. And Everett now, after a shaky start, hits it sweetly. Now Steve Thompson, can he find his rhythm?
It's been a breakthrough year for Thompson, and he's been breaking through the defences as well. Perhaps always not the most consistent with the throwing in, but you know, that's coming. He used to be a back row player. That shows in his play. He's got great potential. Again, Dawson was ever eager to take it quickly, and that's why, because Irish weren't 10 metres. It's not a gamble.
No, it's not, especially when you've got the footwork that Matt Dawson possesses. But it'll be his more solid partner, Paul Grayson, to just push them downfield. Dawson's so influential since he's come back. You can see the amount of metres he makes, more than anyone, and behind him, Pichot, who really is a live wire himself. Since he's come back this season from injury, Miles, Dawson has been central to everything good about them.
And now you can see him rising to this challenge. He's almost enjoying, if I can say that, being 14 points down. He thinks, right, we'll take this one still, don't worry about it. He's that kind of competitive player. Grayson and then Cohen. Northampton love to use Cohen coming in off that wing. Moyer too. There is Moyer. Dawson thinks about going himself. No way through. Leslie. Thompson. Budge Poultney, great support. Referee's playing advantage. Offside. And now it's a warning for Irish.
I'm going to give you a chance just to calm down here, please. No. If I thought that was offside, it would be a penalty. If I thought it was obstruction, it would be a penalty. I don't need you shouting at me the whole game. Otherwise, we're going to go on and we'll get somebody else. Have a little chat with him, please.
Brendan Fenter, Matt Dawson on the same pitch. Maybe ears syringe for Steve Lander on Sunday morning.
Now, Brendan Fenter has talked about Dawson's talking on the pitch, and Fenter, of course, he's pretty good at doing it off the paddock. Letting ref know.
Steve, can you hear me, mate?
It's borderline, isn't it? It's pretty borderline, that hit by Chris Sheesby. That's pretty important for Paul Grayson to know 3 points here, just to settle some early nerves after that shock start.
The side needs 3 points, and they're not going to get it. Now, by Grayson's high standards, that was a shocking kick.
That's Tiger Woods missing from 18 inches. And that is not what Northampton needed, most definitely.
And it's the kind of thing that makes a side already leading 14-0 feel that it just might be their day.
Doesn't hurt your morale, that's for sure.
Two really good scoring chances, and they've taken them both. They could have gone wrong, they didn't. You feel the ball is going for you. Drotsky, another example there, the way it fell for him.
Come back, knock on, red.
Knock on from the... Well, referee Steve Lander says red. Northampton claim it's maroon. It is their chain strip, and it was designed by a young lad from a local school who can't quite believe that Northampton are wearing his colours. Christopher Dominy, his name. There it is. Maroon. I suppose claret's more appropriate for this ground. Certainly is more appropriate in your house.
It's the dark stuff that is dominant at the moment at Twickenham, though, isn't it? Not quite Molly Malone, but Brendan Fenter has got the Irish crowd roaring in on, and it's leadership from the front. Here's the first try. His presence just stands up to slow ball. Grayson taken out, Leslie taken out. Jorgensen doesn't make much of an effort on Bishop, and a lovely ball there to Appleford from Bishop.
Just thinking, that's how to legally obstruct.
Yeah, superbly done. And there's Horak, pretty well done too. My criticism of London Irish all season has been when they've played well, they've settled for 3 points, they've been too percentage driven. This half they've come out in the 22 and they've come away with 2 7-pointers.
Everett, he's serving up some good flat passes, inviting the likes of Appleford and Horak to run onto them. And they're quick men and they're big men as well. They'll take some stopping. Martins to Fenter. Then Horak, tackled by Thompson. It's tied on the touchline side. They need to work it the other way. Strudwick, the captain, and Martins, good play, good link play from the scrum half. Bishop, aggressive run.
Having a fine match, Justin Bishop.
A survivor from the old days at Irish. He was involved in the Cup semi-final 6 years ago when they were in the old second division. There's Wayne Smith. Well, what can you say about that man? He's done just about everything since he arrived at Northampton in terms of changing their whole approach.
Can't just willy-nilly go inside and take players out on the side, okay?
Monty Stewart.
Wayne Smith, lot to worry about. Here's Matt Stewart, that's not coming from behind, he's come from the side, he's taken Henty Martins out. That is woeful lack of discipline. You're 14-0 down, you do not want an experienced international prop forward to do something as mindless as that.
Now Everett missed when he was inside his own half. This, as you'll be able to see in a second, just that little bit closer, and it could make all the difference, enabling him not to have to force it. Beautiful strike. Such a controlled kick. And such a controlled start by London Irish in every aspect of their play.
That's Northampton with 14 internationals, but as you say, it's London Irish who are spot on at the moment, focused on the prize, really playing well. Again, excellent work from the restart. They're getting those set pieces as well. They're controlling the ball, they're controlling the game.
Northampton have 14 internationals, plus of course Grant Seeley, who's played England A, and they need every drop of experience now, trailing 17-0 in the Cup Final. Picked up by Everett, and then Horak, and that was tricky, and the chip is meant for Bishop, who's outpaced Moyer, and he's got a boot on it. Now Appleford, no, not quite. Good work from Cohen, got across. Had that been a wicked bounce, Appleford could have been in. Well played by Horak and Bishop. And Grayson hasn't made it safe. This is Strudwick. Michael Horak never played with Leicester, his old club at Twickenham, and he's enjoying every moment so far, but it's Northampton ball now, and no fullback is back there, of course, because Horak was involved in the attack. And look who's there, it's Ryan Strudwick, who covers every blade of grass every week. He sometimes looks like an animal on the loose, but he does put it in for his club.
London Irish fans disappointed there. I think they felt that Olivier Bruze took Michael Horak high enough for a penalty to be awarded. Steve Lander said no, it was marginal, you know, he took him around the collar. I've seen them given, and that would have been 20-0. Another line out lost. London Irish competed brilliantly at that set piece.
That was Helvey, ex-Munster, played against Northampton on the losing side of the European Cup Final a couple of years ago. Horak, another good pick-up from him, and a good turn back inside to Appleford. They're opening them up. It's Bishop. This could be another score. It should be, will be.
Horak and Bishop are carving the favourites apart at the moment. Northampton are just being cut out wide. It's not the greatest pass, but again, Horak's drawing two men through the first tackle. Appleford and Bishop has enough gasp. The London Irish veteran, Justin Bishop, is having a day he'll never forget. What a start for Irish, and Bishop, he's involved in everything.
Noise now, and it's all coming from the Irish supporters. Everett. Flags are raised. Irish are up there with them, high in the sky, floating on air. What a first half for London Irish.
Well, a real Himalayan range now for the favourites to climb. Appleford in support, what a game he's having, and Bishop sprints in.
Can they nick another score just before the interval? It then becomes awkward to the point of impossible for Northampton. Not quite, but another score now, and Northampton have got to play as well in the second half as Irish have played in the first, and that's asking a lot.
They're almost out at the moment, you know. I think Northampton needs something before the end of this half, but they can't even get a line out. Pressure all the time. So important now for Dawson, Grayson and Blowers to pull their team around.
Saki challenging with Cohen. Appleford. Northampton really have to get something before the interval. But the scrap on the floor was being won by the Irish.
Both in there with the hands.
That was a tight call. It's gone Northampton's way, and plenty for Wayne Smith to ponder on, and what a half-time team talk facing Wayne Smith.
It's tough for 10 minutes as he's ever had in his life as a coach.
He's loving being at Northampton. He can't quite believe the depth of support and the feeling towards him. And he will become a hero along with his players if they can turn this situation around.
Appleford challenging again, and Sheesby, oh, he's monumental this half.
At least 3, possibly 4 runs from Sheesby. Everett going crossfield. And Beale not having to play it before it crossed the line. So a drop out. In the league meetings between these two, 1 apiece, but they don't mean anything on this day.
And after the rugby Northampton have played in the last month, 0-24, it's almost a surreal scoreline. Brilliant stuff from the Irish. They have just taken every chance they've had.
Well, Irish have done to Northampton what Northampton did to the holders Newcastle in the semi-final. Almost to the point if they can get another score. Penalty to the Saints.
Matt Dawson this time not in a hurry to take a quick tap, and I think that's because London Irish's defence is just crawling all over him. There's no fresh air for the England scrum half at all. It's a harry and scurry in defence, and Ryan Strudwick, what a game he's having. Let's not get premature, we're not to half time yet, but this has been sensational from London Irish.
Thompson, the short ball to the front. Blowers was the man to feed it back. Blowers, a man who could still clearly play international rugby. Thompson is doing so. That maul is pulled down and Northampton will take anything, and Dawson is going quickly. What can Northampton do? Their backs pressed against the wall. But they've knocked on.
That's the sign of a team who are tense and nervous.
Captain, there are 4 minutes to play, please.
Matt Dawson with a quick tap, and you can see good discipline because that certainly is 10 metres back when the tackle's made.
Engage.
Now Northampton scrum has got to really put pressure on.
And you probably heard 4 minutes to add on. Just to reiterate, he's giving away a 5-metre scrum, and this is Northampton's opening. They must get something from this, or they'll certainly feel that as they disappear down the tunnel in a couple of minutes. If they get nothing, it will hurt them mentally. If they get something, they will start to believe.
Tide 5 went for the scrum. Henty Martins felt the pressure. Everett couldn't pick up. Now they need to turn that into points.
Dawson to Grayson. Double miss move. Jorgensen. Back with Leslie. Dawson again. Knock on.
And again, another chance goes. But certainly Northampton, some consolation. They put the pressure on the previous scrum. But this defence is good. Everett just about stops his man. Better scrum from Irish.
Better feed from Martins. Better take from Everett. But not the kick that he wanted. He's angry with himself.
Northampton will believe if they can get something before half-time that they have the quality, the individual excellence to get back into this game. But I agree with you. If they go into half-time zip, they're out of this one.
Because nobody can doubt the fitness of Irish this season. They've been one of the fittest, if not the fittest side in the Premiership. And there's some good squads to pick from. Pace of the game these days, unbelievable.
I mean, how many knock-ons from Northampton, 10 metres from the line?
Well, those errors will cost and start to add up now, because this was a moment when they were camped inside the Irish 22.
Well, 10 handling errors each, but I think the key statistic isn't shown on your screen there. It's how many Northampton have made close to the London Irish line.
Yes, where?
Yeah, that's a correct decision, by the way. They're under
question.
pressure.
And there, as you say, Stuart, the free kick given, and then a little bit of, well, lack of discipline there. Shouldn't cost too much in terms of meterage. Can't with the try line so close. Dawson. The rehearsed move. Looks first to the forwards, of which Bruze is one. Dawson again. Leslie's joined in. Bruze, Grand Slam with France. Will it be cut for Northampton? Well, if it's going to be, they've got to get something quickly. Leslie driving on. Dawson looking around. Feverish defence from Irish. Look at the concentration. Blowers. Two men there waiting for him. Dawson again. Is this the time for Witt? Grayson thinks so. Cohen floats it on. Chance here. Bill just lost his footing and Moyer is driven out. But the referee has already given a penalty for offside. Dawson wants the ball quickly. Question is, will 3 points be enough? No, they're going with a try.
I've been a bit surprised that they didn't go for the scrum when they've really got London Irish under some pressure. They're allowing the Irish defence to fan out across. Has to be a good move.
Has to be the last move as well of this half. Over 4 minutes now added. Critical times these. Dawson, Ackerman, Thompson. Still the reception committed to there, and listen to the Irish supporters. Buoyant at that defence. Dawson again. Grayson took the risk, kicked the ball away. Horek couldn't take it. Saki can, but the referee gives another penalty. That's not half-time yet. Cohen now knows that, and Cohen is going himself. Thrilling rugby. Dawson, Beale, oh, good step. Fine tackle too. Ackerman. Dawson, will it be stalemate? Leslie. Dawson again. It's Moyer. Still Irish hang on.
Still more defenders than attackers. Northampton need to drive hard and straight.
And that is half-time. And Irish will troop off to resounding cheers from their supporters. Attacking, they've been quite superb, taking their chances, and then when asked the questions in defence, they equalled their attacking instincts with defending for their lives.
Well, if Brendan Fenter saw the scene I saw then, Matt Dawson and Budge Pountney shoving each other, going into half-time and arguing it'll be manner to Fenter and the London Irish team. Clear signs that Northampton are dismayed at the moment, and it's because London Irish have been magnificent.
Northampton rattled Irish anything but, with a scoreline of 24-0. They're halfway there. Well, more than halfway, but they've still got a half to play. And this, the Bishop try. Wonderfully worked down the short side. He knew well before he put the ball down. Appleford, Horak, Bishop all crossing the line. Everett with his boot, seeing the score through to 24-0. What can Northampton do?
At the moment, at Twickenham, it's half-time in the 31st Cup Final, and Northampton do not know what has hit them. Irish came out of the blocks like a train. And the match facts tell the story of that first half. Set-piece possession, they've lost 4-2 and missed more tackles as well at the Saints, 13-5. and it has sparked dramatic scenes here at Twickenham as well, because having camped on the London Irish line for the last 10 minutes of that half, they came away with absolutely nothing. But just look at Budge Pownley and Matt Dawson. Psychologically, that could have done some real damage, coming away with absolutely nothing in the first half. And Darry Morris and Michael Lynott, just what is going on?
Well, they're just blown away. I mean, where we thought Northampton were going to be strong was on the forwards. We thought London Irish would be the structure. At the moment, London Irish are the flair side, because Northampton are giving too many mistakes. They're just making so many mistakes. Matt Dawson must have knocked the ball on 2 or 3 times. I'm very surprised right at the end that they didn't go for 3 points. They went for the try. Irish are so fired up, Michael, they just can't get a platform.
Often when teams are nervous, like London Irish obviously were nervous, typified by Barry Everett and his start to the game, and often that can bring a real edge to their play, and London Irish has certainly got the edge today. They've been outstanding. Everything they've done has been so sharp and so crisp.
Well, Everett missed that early penalty, but then regained his composure. But it was the scores that came through crossing the line that had inflicted most of the damage in that first 20 minutes. Well, what a start for the Irish.
Well, that's right. They've got the big guys. It's a great line-out. Again, Northampton's line-out hasn't been functioning. London Irish's line-out has been functioning. They're battering hard, battering hard. And where you've seen Irish sometimes go back inside to the forwards, this time, let's give it a go, Mike. Yeah. And Fenter just holding up.
That's right. Fenter's taken two men out, and they're also attacking Grayson.
Yeah.
Fenter at Grayson.
Yeah.
Lovely move by that scored the try. Here, Fenter once again, Horak again, attacking Grayson.
And Grayson sliding off, not able to attack.
Yeah.
You know, and they're just battering on.
Shrewsbury's had a wonderful game.
And they're picking up so well, but the retention is so brilliant. It's been brilliant for them all season. And when it just pops up, there is no more
defence.
Northampton defenders there. Horak scores a great try on his favoured right-hand side, as Stuart said. Yeah. They love to attack there, and then, well...
Once again, turnover ball. Not a great pass, but here we go.
This guy, Horak, mate.
He's having a good game. As is Appleford. Haven't heard much of him during the season, but boy, didn't miss that opportunity. Bishop also has made every post a winner as well.
They're just doing the basics very, very well. They're doing them flat out. They're retaining the ball, and they're just blowing Northampton away at the moment. They're struggling. Northampton are struggling, as we see Dawson and Pownley then falling out at the end. That's not a very good sign if you're a Northampton supporter.
So up front things are going right for London Irish as well, but what about the performance of that back three as well?
Well, do you want to talk to me? It's just they're just great. I mean, you know, Horak is a big guy, he's a big runner, but they're kicking so much ball to him. He's coming back. You know, Saki, we haven't seen so much of him. He nearly got an interception.
But Irish defence has been very strong as well, hasn't it? You know, they've been putting Northampton under enormous pressure. Here we are.
Right at the end, Mike. I'm sorry, but I would personally have gone for 3 points. Yeah. There is no way you're going to get through this line, because they are so pumped up, London Irish. Go in at least 24-3, get some points on the board. They didn't do that, and basically nilled them.
Just quickly, what will Wayne Smith be telling his Northampton side? How can they get back in this?
Well, I think they've just got to maintain possession and get some pattern going. They haven't established a pattern, and that's what it'll be key. Try and get possession, pattern, and hold on to the ball and hope for it.
Well, at the moment, Twickenham is reverberating to the sounds of the fields of Athenry, Molly Malone as well, because they can scarcely believe it, the underdogs. 24 points to 0. They lead at half-time in the 31st National Cup Final. When we come back, we'll see if Northampton have got anything left in the tank and can bounce back. Stay with us. Our shell shock, not a point on the board. London Irish lead the way, the margin 24 points. Let's get some reaction from inside the Saints camp. Graham Simmons is talking to the Northampton director of rugby, John Steele.
Simon, thank you very much indeed. From a Northampton point of view, could the first half have gone any worse than that, John?
Yeah, obviously it's a disappointing first half. Our defence wasn't what we expected. We weren't stepping up, we weren't winning the collisions, but we've got another half now. We've put a few things straight at half-time. Wayne's pointed out a few things. And this is a good side, full of spirit, full of experience, and we've got to get stuck back into them. I think London Irish, take nothing away from them, they've done the basics a lot better than we have.
Is everybody calm in that dressing room? We saw Matt Dawson and Budge Pownley having a bit of a shoving match coming off. Is everybody calm in there?
Yeah, it is calm. We've got a job to do. We need to think about the best way of doing it, but we need to step it up now, and I'm sure the boys are going to do that.
All right, thanks, John. Thank you for your time. Good luck.
So Irish to start this second half. Northampton have made one change. It's on the wing. James Brooks has come on for Craig Moyer. It's the only change made by either side at half-time.
Gone for pace there with Brooks. Very talented footballer. Craig Moyer, a strong winger, but Brooks has the ability to do something else, and that's important. Especially when you're 24-0 down.
Well, Northampton said this week they would not out-passion the Irish. They would have to use something else to win the match. But it's all those other things that Irish have done so well in addition to their passion.
I'm not certain about your use of out-passion. I suppose you're quoting Northampton, but it's out-thinking that has been the key. London Irish have been so smart all season, and they've been razor sharp today.
Oh, it's all those other things, isn't it? It's not just the passion. Martins to Drotsky, making inroads. Another score now, and well, you would start to think it, wouldn't you? That it is all over. Northampton get the relief of a penalty for holding on.
I'll tell you what, Matt Dawson did not fancy taking Nakadrotsky there. You know, Northampton have got to step up and make the tackles. What's this? Drotsky short. Look at Dawson here. No, thank you.
Grayson into touch, and Northampton must get something to build from. They must get the first score. I think it's worth also pointing out at the moment the impact made by Helvey, Danaher and Sheesby in this match, taking on one of the best back rows in the Premiership in Blowers, Poultney and Seeley. And there's Sheesby trying to come through on Dawson, but he got the ball away, and then Grayson slipping it to Cohen. Dawson again. Thompson. There's Danaher, the man with no name. And there's the penalty for London Irish. Martins wanted to go just as Dawson has.
Or you can play the ball. You can't, I'll give you one, not four.
Referee encouraging the players to stay on their feet if they can. Barry Everett's first visit to Twickenham the other week for the university final. He watched Brunel. This his first real taste though. 9 first half points in addition to the 3 tries.
Good early field position as well for Drotsky, another man who's having a superb match. Not straight though. The commentator's curse. He's played really well though, Nakadrotsky. Fellow Free Stater along with Fenter.
There's a Free State frankness to his play. You wouldn't argue. Seeley. Ball whizzing its way back to Dawson, did well to react. Ackerman for Northampton there. Springbok second row. Said he dreamt of a cup final when he joined, and he got his dream to come true very quickly. But he wanted a winning one. Brooks, the replacement, chasing. Paul Grayson, the fly half, doing the kicking.
And I don't think tactically that's bad from Grayson, because at the moment there's more chance of Northampton getting ball from London Irish and joy from the line out than from 70 metres out against this mean green wall of defence.
Drotsky featured in the World Cup semi-final here 3 years ago, Australia versus South Africa. Brendan Fender missed that. He was suspended. So lots of firsts for London Irish today. Their players like Fenter, and even the young ones too, of course, playing at Twickenham for the first time. Right the way through the squad, and you wouldn't know it from their performance.
No, Fenter will be pleased with the man inside him, Barry Everett. Out-kicked Grayson there, he returned that Grayson punt with interest.
Dawson giving himself more room as Thompson came round on the loop. This is Bruze.
Go on, go on.
Dawson's down injured. That's why he couldn't pass from the base of that ruck. Poultney. Ackerman. Sheesby was waiting.
Get away, Green, leave it. Go on.
Tom Smith off the floor to Ben Cohen.
Get away! Wait there.
Dawson trying to run off his knock, and then Grayson. Good ball back inside to Thompson. Bruze.
Better from the Northampton tight forwards.
Thompson again. Tackled by Helvey.
Leave it green. Wait there.
Filling in for Gustard and doing it so well again, Eddie Helvey.
John Leslie is going to be bruised this afternoon.
Stewart caught by Everett. Always two on hand, it seems, for London Irish.
Clear the tackle area, Green. 3 in a row, you're hanging around.
Simbin might become an option
Green,
very
you're all
shortly.
hanging around. Clear the tackle area so we can play on. Yeah.
We saw Northampton there. Let's whip to their game.
Green
Trying to hit
Green
Ireland right down the middle of the park.
And here's a double change in the front row with Halford, Simon Halford and Richard Kirk coming on. Narka Drotsky and Rob Hardwick, affectionately known as Lala. And all those front row men have done so much for the Irish cause this season. Hardwick has certainly done his bit this afternoon. Dawson still in trouble.
Well, here's the injury. Halvey making the tackle and he lands very awkwardly on his shoulder there. But Eddie Halvey, though, how many tackles has he made today? No doubt Dawson needed, and a cool-minded Dawson, not the hot-headed guy we've seen for the last 10-15 minutes. He's got to be in control of his mind.
Don Malone is the replacement. He played for Dawson in the European Cup Final when Dawson was out injured for that game.
But Dawson has been a real spark, hasn't he, in the last month? And I must say, London Irish have done a super job on him so far.
Yes, you let Dawson roam free and then Northampton roam free.
And sprint clear.
The referee not happy with the gap of the line out.
Both sides are in the gap. Number 3, don't run down the middle, please. 2, 1. Let's not go again.
Thompson throws again. Oh, good steal. Strudwick. One of the players of the season, Ryan Strudwick. Will he be lifting the cup later on this afternoon? It's looking that way. Cohen.
Bit of shape now to Northampton in attack, but Irish's defence so strong.
Grayson inside to Tom Smith. Most mobile of props. Dawson to Grayson. Got a bit cluttered. The forwards doing well. Poor pass from Dawson to Grayson, picked up in the end by Leslie, and then Jorgensen straightens. The burst from the Australian. Bishop tries to get in, picked up by Grayson though. Out it goes to Brooks. Little chip over the top. And Irish survive. They do more than that. Appleford is running it out. He obviously took it over the line. It would have been a tight call, but he knew what he'd done. And Appleford, exceptional work from him. Everett bashes the ball away, and you'd have thought Irish had scored a try. What they did was save one, courtesy of Appleford.
Memorable afternoon so far for Jeff Appleford. Brooks with a clever chip, and Appleford. Well, Strudwick, in fact, is in the way there. I think there's an accidental offside, but he does ever so well anyway. Steps past blowers. But if you look back at that, Strudwick is between Appleford and Brooks, and he takes him out. But when you're 24-0 down, you don't tend to get anything going your way.
Martins is scragged. Penalty to Irish. Mentioned Henty Martins there. It's been a bit tough on Darren Edwards not playing in this match.
Coming back on their side when
Martins has just shaded him on recent form, but Edwards, a great contributor to Irish this season, sitting on the bench, and that was Martins reacting well at that line out.
Strudwick reacted pretty well to a Northampton throw as well. I mean, the foundations of the Saints game is undermined at the moment. Captain leading by example, soaring higher than Bruce, one of the best locks in the Six Nations this year. But Strudwick is having the afternoon of his rugby life at the moment.
Matty Stewart and Steve Thompson off. Richmond and Morris, the youngsters. Dan Richmond, the hooker, and Robbie Morris, his 20-year-old prop.
Well, the absence of Thompson, the departure of Thompson is a great, great strike for the London Irish front five. They've undermined the England hooker today.
Everett, like Grayson, quite happy to turn the ball back inside, knowing the big runners will be there. Horak.
There it is. There it is.
Jorgensen, tackled by Bishop. Justin Bishop, everything asked of him, he's done really well. Now that's an interesting little kick. A lot of work to do here for the fullback, Nick Beale. Appleford trying to catch him. And Beale kicks to find Horak. He'll come straight back at the Northampton Saints. And he'll run straight through them. Fine running from Michael Horak. But then going to ground, penalty. And Horak might have been hurt there.
London Irish just got a little bit excited. Nick Beale off his wrong foot, doesn't kick well, and Horak, who's injured at the moment, what a storming game he's had, just running at soft spots. And there you can see two London Irish men off their feet, but he steps Pountney, he leaves the Scotland man for dead. Such a strong counter-attacker. Dawson this time does fancy the challenge. And I think it's Fenter straight off his feet.
This point should just clarify something with all these replacements coming on. There are two London Irish players without a number on their back. And they are Strudwick and Danaher, who of course started the match. What they do have on their back, of course, is a pint of something. And they might be drinking a few tonight.
Be nothing black in the glass though. I think they'll last about 2 seconds a pint.
It's a warm day, shut up.
Oh, you can see that. Look at the line-out statistics. Northampton 8 of 14. That is a mess. That is a mess.
Touch there for Richmond. And then Smith.
Just anxious and they're creeping flat, aren't they?
Well, they must have one eye on the clock now, not just the scoreboard, but also the clock. Haven't got anything since half-time. Beale haven't got anything in the match.
55 minutes, Northampton, a big fat 0. What odds that? Wow.
Dawson, referee playing. Oh, Fenter went in hard on Dawson there, and that might lead to a flare-up. Dawson is furious.
Oh, I think Fenter could be in trouble as well here.
Walk away. Walk away. I'll deal with that. I'll see what it is. Go away. Just a second. Go away. Move away. I want to see what he has to say first. Brian, have you got me? Go on. Referee
Steve Lander talking to Steve Lation is touch judge. We can't listen into this conversation, but we'll hear the explanation. Brendan Fenter was annoyed by something, but then...
9-12, please.
So was Dawson.
Both captains. Yeah. Ready?
Captain Strudwick and
Just listen to what
Poutley
I'm going to say.
too.
Okay, just wait, come here. Okay, the tackle was hard and in our view dangerous. Okay, the penalty's going to be against you. What happened afterwards, it was 50-50, 6-1, half a dozen the other. The penalty's going to red. You've now been involved in 2 penalties and a fracas. You just need to calm down a bit. All right?
Pick up the facts.
I think it's fair to say, Miles, there's a history between those 2 individuals. And that history came to a pretty violent fruition then. Fenter holding nothing back all afternoon.
As we said earlier, regard the results of the earlier meetings this season in the Premiership, but they were spiky affairs, especially the second one. Oh.
That's not an attempted tackle. He swung at him, hasn't he, really?
That is an appalling tackle.
No, Brendan Fenter saying it's just a tackle. But Dawson shouldn't have reacted. Perhaps lucky he didn't have it turned over.
Well, here we see Darren Edwards replacing Henty Martins, the latest London Irish change. And Brendan Fenter, in view of what's happened before the match, the warning that he was on, and then having seen that tackle again, he is very lucky to be on the field now. Very lucky.
Knock on.
And Northampton again. How many field positions have they blown in the 22? It's costing them. Here's the incident again. He's a bit lucky, you know, that he doesn't make a real contact. And I would say as well, I don't think his fist was closed, but it was a pretty wild swing.
Yes, there aren't many excuses for that one, let's face it. And the inevitable result, 2 sets of forwards fired up before, but now roasting hot.
Come here. Come here. Wait there. Rest of you go away.
If the touch judge saw the aftermath, you let the game go. He's not certain where the first offence is. Lander's just got to say calm it. And take control.
Yes, we've had a critical phase of the game for both sides. Now we've got a critical phase for the referee, Steve Lander.
For 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Go away.
And it's Morris and Worsley
Go away.
who incur the wrath of the official.
Your man
Just had a shot there. You could see Worsley threw a little punch at Morris. Morris reacted. What led to it? Who knows? There's the first, there's the punch, there's the reaction. But that punch didn't come from nowhere. And that's why,
Well, Northampton get the game moving, and Cohen is going in to score! Irish were asleep for the first time in the match. Cohen took it beautifully. Just maybe. There's still life in this final as a contest now. They think so.
Cohen did it. It was too late when he did it in Paris against France. It might be too late now, but he's at least given this tie some oxygen. Grayson, good change of direction, not a change of plan. And look at Cohen, soar high. For the first time, Horak out-muscled. And some encouragement for the East Midland team. Some.
Is there anyone better at that than Ben Cohen? He does that so well. Commanding presence in the air. Grayson with the conversion. Well, it would be one of the great cup final comebacks. They've got a quarter of the match to go.
That's a great take from Cohen. key is he comes from deep at pace, and that's why the out-muscles Horak, who's trying to rise high to take that. Will that spark Northampton?
They almost need to work in sections, don't they? Set themselves a target and get a score within the next, 5 or 6 minutes to build the anxiety and then go on from there. The anxiety for London Irish, that is. Grace Seeley eating up the ground with those big strides. Brooks, Everett across quickly, needed to be. Beale, interesting this, because Saki's got to turn, and Cohen will be breathing down his neck. And they've got him. Saki did very well. Northampton, of course, think that he was holding on after the tackle had been made, but the decision is for illegal use of the hands in the ruck. The referee pointing out that in his opinion the ruck had been formed.
Well, that was marginal, you know. That ball was under Saki's control on the floor for some time there. Oh, Everett's boot comes off.
Yes, ball in touch, boot on halfway. Grant Seeley, the gentleman, hands it back. Meanwhile, Paul Saki is receiving treatment.
And he did the right thing. He went down and he took whatever came his way. Got to do that in cup finals.
Again, making valuable ground, but then the penalty does go Northampton's way, and now everything they need immediately.
Yeah, but I think 18 minutes to go, they're going to try and get field position here. Grayson, though, has got to really look to get some depth on this. Makes the 22. They've got to get field position. What they haven't done for 62 minutes, Mars, is when they've had field position, and they've had plenty of it, is come away with the score, just the once.
No, the story of the match so far, Irish have taken their chances, Northampton haven't, but look at the possession that Northampton have had in this second half. They've got 7 points so far to show for it, trailing 24-0 at half-time. Smith and then Richmond, that was hurried, it was, well, that word again, anxious. Dawson still might be on there because there are players out wide, and Jorgensen is one of them. Didn't think there was an overlap, or he didn't think his man was going to make the pass. That was mighty close. Edwards is stopped, but the ball was lost forward. A couple of front row replacements here. With the sin bin in operation, you can see there Danaher having to come off.
But I tell you what, it's great defence from London Irish. The last man didn't go too early. If he does go too early, then I'm afraid it's a try. He doesn't, he waits, and so Jorgensen goes for the dummy. Quite simply, Northampton must score in the next 5 minutes. I think they must score in this incursion into the Northampton 22. They've scrummaged well. They've got to try and turn this one or put Everett under some pressure.
It's a case of having to score every time you're in the 22 now. With under 16 minutes left. Another important decision made by the referee there, feeling that Northampton were going to ground, as you hear.
Desperate stuff from Budge Pountney. I thought he'd got away with that one. It's the old battering round though, isn't it? She's being Fenter to smash them out of trouble.
And whereas Grayson was pushing it to the limit, going for maximum length. Everett doesn't have to do that. He just has to make sure, because London Irish will throw in to the line out. Northampton will defend it. I reckon 25 to 30,000 Northampton supporters in the stadium.
Play the ball, play the ball.
And at the moment they're watching their side in a losing cup final performance again.
How many Ryan Strudwicks are on the pitch?
Well, how many Ryan Strudwicks do London Irish have generally?
That's all right, when he won the ball, that's okay.
15 this afternoon, Miles.
It's been every match this season. Consistency of the highest order. There's Grayson again, going for the corner. Has to go for the maximum. And Horak taking his time. Well, I'm not sure what you think about this.
Cynical, but it's within the rules. And that is how Brendan Fenter has geared this team up to get to where they are. Second in the league. He talks the perfect game, he plays the smart game. Don't be fooled by words.
Bill.
Hit by Fenter.
Dawson, Leslie, Grayson. Had Cohen outside, but he went himself, and then Edwards throws the long pass inside, and Blowers was ready to pounce. He's been unfortunate. He was sliding to get there, and in doing so, he's knocked the ball on. It's a mini knock-on, if you like, a tiny little one, but it was enough.
Darren Edwards, what are you doing? Pass woeful. Blowers so fast. Just think Chris Sheesby's covering all of Twickenham, starting to tire a bit at 35.
Blowers almost getting himself past the point of knock-on to make it look like he had, but he had. But it's Northampton ball, and it's Dawson, and it's Leslie. Just haven't had that killer touch, which has been such a part of their play recently.
I just feel there are points here for Northampton yet. I think London Irish are on the edge. They're tired.
Seeley. And remember how Harlequins came back at Irish in the semi-final. That's for Cohen to chase. Horak. Nearly didn't get there.
How about that for kick from John Leslie? London Irish needed their mascot to cheer them on now. Northampton, I wouldn't say they could smell victory, but they just think if they could get something from this, well, who knows? That's a canny kick, because Horak forced to kick that out. Cohen, he never gives up, does he? What an attitude he has.
Well, Irish could do with Digger the Wolfhound in defence. Because it's all defence now. For the side holding the lead. Simbin about to come to an end, by the way.
And if you keep going right, on the 22, Northampton's left wing, Ben Cohen has switched positions. We're getting there slowly.
Wait a minute, please.
He's in front of his centre, so it's not going to be passed. He's right on the touchline. They've got the options, the catch and drive line out, and now Cohen goes off the park. He's caught one and scored. Will they go for the high risk again?
Horak is there waiting, but of course Cohen won the last one. Oh, it's Irish ball.
It's the other Strudwick. Or was it Williams? They've been brilliant.
Great. Everett, Grayson coming through, trying to make the charge down. These are tense times for Irish despite the lead. And the Simbin is now officially over.
But another line-out gone south. You can't win matches like this if you can't win your line-outs.
Can Irish take that step to winners? in a competition. They're fighting on so many fronts this season. Second place in the Premiership, of course, the Championship already Leicester's, but pushing hard for the playoffs. And this one of the reasons why. They've had a wonderful line-out. They've got a European semi-final to look forward to. And there, the evidence.
Williams, Strudwick and Sheesby stand up to be counted, because Bruze's been mesmeric all season. Ackerman's such a rock in the Northampton team, but they've been outplayed at this crucial area. Thompson's gone after 51 minutes. They've punched into the self-confidence of Northampton itself.
And of course Steve Williams moves to Northampton at the end of the season.
Yes.
But now he's an Irish player and he's got a trophy to win. This is Leslie, because that trophy is not won yet. Dawson, Grayson, Morris, Dawson again, Grayson. Some big men waiting, but it went to Brooks, who retains. Grayson again, Tom Smith, ever present with the Lions over the last 2 tours. Leslie, all of them international stars, the size of the Irish task, but they continue to hold out. Jorgensen, caps for Australia. Dawson, many caps for England. Northampton put in.
That was genuinely accidental.
8 minutes to go. Try must be scored here, or it's too late for Northampton. And I think London Irish have got to bring on fresh legs now.
And they're holding up the number 5 to come off, and that is Steve Williams. As we're saying, next season, a Northampton player. It will cost more in national insurance contributions, and he may have taken a trophy away from Northampton.
And I don't think he's going to get a particularly warm welcome on day one.
Seeley did well. There's John Phillips. Dawson, Smith. It's like the end of the first half, they couldn't break down the wall. Dawson looking all around for Grayson, there he is. Cohen. Have they got the wit to break through again?
Brendan Fenter is some sort of human missile. He's just throwing himself at Northampton men. He's gasping for breath, but he just will not concede an inch.
Don't turn in, you two. Keep it straight.
The good doctor has been more than good. He's been excellent for his team.
Bad medicine for the Saints.
Dawson might be a gap here. Oh no, it's an interception! Long way for Appleford to go. They're trying to get back at him. Leslie's trying to get there. Is this the winning try? Yes! Cup final glory beckons. Jeff Appleford is about to shake hands with history. What a day it's been for him. He set Irish on the way, and with that long run up the Twickenham field, he might have finished Northampton off.
Amazing scenes here. Northampton huffed and they puffed and they could not blow the greenhouse down. I watched Brendan Fenter, as that try was scored, sprint off to get the subs on. Here's Appleford, his young centre partner. And as Appleford is sprinted for glory, Brendan Fenter was running towards the west stand, saying to the replacement, get on, savour this moment. Appleford, that's a brilliant finish. What a fine game he's had. And you feel for Northampton and all the commitment, but they didn't have the nous.
Everett Jeff Appleford, a star for England in the sevens this year, came on at the end of the Hong Kong final and enjoyed that atmosphere. And today, a special club atmosphere.
Okay, let's go!
Delaney getting that ball back initially. Everett getting that ball away.
It is going to be some party in southwest London tonight. It's going to spread, isn't it? A black cloud that's just going to go all around London.
And the reverse of that, the sadness on the Northampton faces all around us here. You can see the joy written large across the Irish supporters. Northampton is devastation. The way they've been playing, they came here as most people's favourites. Irish tried to say that, but deep down, deep inside, Irish knew that there was something special waiting to come out, and they have unlocked the door today, and it's come flooding out. Everett, Saki is going now. Now there's just about nobody quicker than Saki on the field, but he didn't really have the angle, and Jorgensen got back. Plenty of numbers there for Irish in support of Saki, and they've turned over the ball. Northampton losing the heart here, and Irish winning the final. Another for Justin Bishop. Fenter's face said it all.
Bishop, he's been there a long time. I don't think he ever believed he would see a day like this in London Irish colours.
And Stewart, before Barry Everett takes this kick, your man of the match, please.
Well, I think Strudwick has been immense as a captain. Sheesby had no right to play like he has at 35. But the architect of today, the architect of the season, Fenter, he put his body on the line for the first two tries. He's tackled like a demon. He has been the living, breathing inspiration for this team. Brendan Fenter's team, Brendan Fenter's day. A great day for Irish, and Fenter, Powergen man of the match.
And Barry Everett powers on. Everett, of course, one of the Irish links, and there are many Irish links all around us in the stands. Easy for Bishop. His second try, just like Appleford, he's got a brace.
I'm thinking about finding an art for a limerick myself for tonight. Yes, Justin Bishop, you deserve it. Another star today. Along with Horak and Saki, that back three gone so well, but it's in front of them that, well, they've done so much damage. Turned this final and all the expectations on its head.
And the real damage was all done in the first half. Northampton had too much to do in the end. They got the Cohen score, but they had to play almost perfect rugby, and that is what Irish were playing in the first half. And when they were forced to defend in the second half, they did it again, as if their lives depended on it. Dawson to blowers. It would now just be a consolation, but is there such a thing in a final?
Forget consolation. This is devastation. Doesn't matter what Northampton do now. And London Irish, you can be certain, have not got to 38-7 by saying, well, let's ease off now, boys. They'll defend for their lives still.
Green, you're throwing that in.
Johan Ackerman. The contrast there for all to see. Poundney trying to keep the engine going, but in truth it stalled a long time ago.
Well, it was smashed and wrecked, wasn't it, with hammers by Fenter and knife blows from Horak and Bishop. It's a demolition job. The Northampton sports cars is on bricks. It's gone.
Dawson, Grayson, and then Cohen. It's in a tight channel where Northampton haven't been playing. They've been playing with width through those blowers, but inevitably the whistle goes to stop him scoring. And it's now just a question of how much time Steve Lander is prepared to add on. Man of the match has just been announced. High on approval, the Irish supporters.
You cannot just describe the job that Fenter's done. And look at the job he's done on John Leslie there. London Irish have just wanted it so much. I've seen some great performances in cup finals, but I don't know whether I've seen a team who wanted it quite as much as this. You've commentated a few finals, Miles. Ever felt that desire like we've seen today?
No, it's a fair call. But it's been a desire which has run all the way through the squad all season. It's got them to second in the Premiership, it's got them to a European semi-final, and it's got them to the Powergen Cup Final. And at last for London Irish, they've got themselves a domestic trophy in only their second final. 22 years since a final for this club. It's a magnificent achievement. And this is a club which doesn't intend to stand still. And I think it's the manner of the victory which will mean so much to them, not just the trophy, it's the way in which they've won. That suggests that they can go on.
Well, in its own way, this will hurt Wayne Smith almost as much as that last second Australian try to deprive the All Blacks of the Tri-Nations, because this has been... Wow.
Oh yes, more will come. Surely more will come for London Irish. But today is about celebrating the first step to silverware, and that is so often the biggest step to take. Brendan Fenter and London Irish win the cup, and they have brushed Northampton aside.
We've all been talking about Smith, the master tactician, but it was Fenter with the brutal honesty that he imparts and just surges through the veins of his team that carried the day. Make no mistake, that was special from London Irish today. That was special.
And the other side of that coin, Matt Dawson and Northampton once again in a domestic cup final on the losing side. All at Irish have worked so hard for a moment like this. It is reward for their efforts. There has been a great feeling of togetherness and enjoyment all season. And of course Fenter, the man of the match, the man of the season for London Irish, on and off the field. At the head of it all, he must take great credit for this. But Fenter is keen to stress that it's a team thing. It's a democracy. That was the word he used this week. The players there told again that this is your day.
Oh, I'm sure he won't really want to be the man of the match, because he'll feel, and quite rightly, that this is a club effort, and in some ways the decision was a symbolic one for everything he's done for the club and the way he planned his victory. Men like Horak, he left professional rugby to take up a job in the city, he's been brought out of it. Marvellous today. Saki, we thought he was going nowhere. He's now sprinting in the fast lane. Conor O'Shea, what will he think?
Well, we should mention the men off the field as well. Director of Rugby, Conor O'Shea. And there's the head coach, Wayne Smith. Let's quickly go down to Conor. He's with Graham Simmons.
Miles, thank you very much. The first word has to go to an Irishman on a day like this. Could you have imagined in your wildest dreams it would go as well as that?
No, I mean, it was really over at half-time, and I think the 5-minute period before half-time where Northampton were on a line, we had 3 set phases which we didn't clear our lines, and we kept on defending, and they didn't break through, and I think it was gone on that. It wasn't the greatest first 20 minutes of the second half of rugby, but I think today result probably more the performance is a great, and it was a great performance. I don't think you could ever say that we didn't play well today. There was just a 20-minute period where we didn't have the ball, didn't play with the ball, but we let them enjoy today. This is unbelievable here, and see the number of Irish people and Irish flags, and it's a great day, and it's just a credit to the players, nobody else, just the 34 guys we have on our squad.
And at midnight tonight, when you're staggering out of some hostelry in Richmond or wherever you're going to be, what's going to mean the most to you, winning it or the way you won it today, Conor?
Is that midnight tonight or midnight tomorrow night? Listen, this is a great day, and we'll enjoy this, and the team deserve to, the supporters deserve to, and then Monday we'll sit them down and say we have a big game next week. We always say next week is our next big game, and we'll be judged on that, but today's a day just to enjoy this, and hopefully just a building block. But first, it's the first trophy outside of the underage in our club's history, so it's a great day, and we'll take it, but it's only, if it's a flash in the pan, it's worth nothing, but let's enjoy this.
Sure you will. Miles Harrison, back to you, sir.
Thanks, Graham. Great line from Conor O'Shea this week, by the way. If you'd have given me a cup final at the start of the season, I wouldn't have bitten your hand off. I'd have become a cannibal. And Irish, well, the hunger and the desire has been there all season, and it's come to fruition today. Northampton collecting their losers' medals, Irish receiving the applause. And we shouldn't just stop at Conor O'Shea. You know, Gary Gold, the assistant to Brendan Fenter, done sterling work. These are the men off the field. Dirk Williams, fitness trainer, but more than that, offering a lot more to the thought process of the side as we see the Northampton faces pass through. And also Kieran McCarthy, the team manager, does wonders off the field. And there's Wayne Smith, who's doing wonders for Northampton. And there will be other days when Northampton take part in big occasions, and probably with Smith in charge.
Well, let's put this win in context. Northampton have played some of the best rugby, the best rugby in the last month in England. They came into this game deserved favourites. They were outthought, they were outmuscled, and they were psychologically put in a hole, and someone just dropped the earth on top of them, and that was the end of Northampton. They were just... they were put away by Fenter and an inspired team. And someone's just sent a Gilbert towards us, and nearly hit Miles, and I knocked on.
I was expecting you to catch it.
Well, I wasn't expecting it to get up this high at the ground. It must have been Barry Everett. No one could have been that accurate.
So here come London Irish. And above all, as we said, it's a players' day. The first team in the history of this club to win a major trophy, and that will sound so good to everybody connected with London Irish. Ryan Strudwick, their captain, and it will sound good to all those who have made the trip to Twickenham from England, Ireland, or even further afield. London Irish, well, they're feeling top of the world. The Powergen Cup belongs to the men in green.
Not a nail-biter like last year, but memorable in so many other ways. The collective par excellence from London Irish.
And as you say, what a party. But not for those men, but Powley and Nick Beale. Been there, done it internationally. Disappointment with their club today. Narkodrotsky, second spell. Enjoy. For Saki. could hardly bear to watch. Richard Kirk, so often not the replacement hooker. Plenty of rotation in this squad, they've all played their part. And what a part he played today. Ryan Strudwick and Conor O'Shea will once again be first to slap him on the back and say well done to his captain.
And the Irish players who didn't make the 22. It's a big team effort, it's a club effort here. No doubt at all, this is the greatest day in the history of London Irish.
But they will want to use this as a day to build more great days. That's what it's all about. And it's worth stressing again, it's the manner of performance which proves to them that now anything is possible.
Well, they haven't got to second in the league by always playing the prettiest rugby, but they were clinical today. They found an extra gear, and under pressure in the final in front of 75,000, to have that capacity to say, right, we lift our game and go, that was so impressive. Northampton couldn't quite go through what we've seen in the last month. London Irish stepped up a gear.
So there we have it, the players posing for the photograph that they wanted to be part of. Hardly dare dreaming that they would be part of this photograph all week. It was a busy week, plenty of requests for interviews and microphones being pushed in front of their faces, but they concentrated on what mattered most, and that was staying a tight-knit group, and a group which knew what they wanted to do. There was a message on the training wall. It said, let the main thing keep being the main thing all week. Let's not lose sight of what this is all about. And now they have the prize, the trophy.
Interviews mean nothing. If come 4:30 on the Saturday, you are the loser. All those Northampton interviews will be forgotten. There won't be a single press cut in, a television video kept. You can be certain now some of these guys, they'll keep what was written about them in the week, because it's all come to fruition.
And the man at the helm feeling, no doubt, immensely proud. And Chris Sheesby, a cup winner at last. Losing side in 92 and 93 when a Harlequins player. And the players going for a lap of honour, which is always great to see. Make sure everybody is catered for, all corners of the ground, and there have been Irish supporters everywhere today. Rob Hardwick. Well, I'm not sure I understand that. Steve Irwin did that once.
Justin Bishop suggesting he's going to have a 1 or 2 tonight as we hear the tune Molly Malone's.
Well, the news from the bars down here in Twickenham is they are running low on Guinness, and the reason for that is because London Irish have blown Northampton away in this, the 31st National Cup Final. 38 points to 7, the final scores. They outscored them by 5 tries to 1, and in the end, realistically, it was all over by half-time. Well, the match facts tell the story. In the second half, Northampton had all the possession, but London Irish just absorbed it. 115 tackles they made. They missed far fewer as well than Northampton. Let's get some reaction, though, and the final thoughts of the London Irish player coach, Brendan Fenter. He's alongside his centre partner, Jeff Appleford, and both of them are talking to Graham Simmons.
And most importantly, with them is the Powergen Cup. There you go, Brendan Venter. Could this day have gone any better?
No, I don't think it doesn't get much better than this. Awesome weather, awesome crowd, and a great result for us.
You'd have dreamt about this all week, wouldn't you? I mean, you go to bed, put the light out, lie down on the pillow, think about the game on Saturday. You'd never seriously have thought it could have gone as well as this, though.
No, I agree. You know, I mean, the one thing we try to do is put it out of our minds a little bit and just treat it as another game. When you came to see us in the week, that was our emphasis. And I felt it worked well because we hadn't really, none of us have been, only one or two of us have been to an occasion as big as this. So I thought that worked quite well, forgetting about the thing and just coming out today and play.
For all the tries you scored and as well as you went on offence, what do you think was the key to the game? Was it that period before half-time, that 5-minute period when they were really pounding on the door and came away with nothing?
Yeah, without a doubt. We were well up and we needed to keep them out there. If they got something before half-time, they would have had something for their team talk when they left without points. I thought that was a really key moment of the game.
Have a chat with Jeff alongside just for 1 second. Jeff, Hong Kong Sevens last month, Powergen Cup this month. What are you going to do next month?
Well, hopefully we get a bit more silverware. It's been a great season so far, and hopefully we can just carry it on.
It was your try, obviously, that started it all off, alongside Brendan here, working a little what looked like a training ground manoeuvre. Tell us if it was or not, and how it happened, Jeff.
Well, Brendan and Bishy did all the hard work. Great line out there by the forwards, and really I just had to catch the ball and put it down, hold on to it.
Was this something off the training ground, out of the playbook, or was it just off the cuff on the day?
No, we had worked on this. It was a set play, and it just worked like clockwork. Great pass from Bishy. I just had to put it down.
5 minutes into the game and you're underneath the post. How much were you emphasising before the game how important it was to get off to a fast start?
We knew that we had to get into them. They've been on fire for the last few weeks, and we knew that we had to stamp our authority on the game quite early.
Well, the first try you didn't have to run very far for. The second try, by contrast, the longest run. Have a look at this.
Yeah, they were chasing the game at that stage, and bound to throw a sort of sceptical pass, and it felt like the line was never going to arrive.
It's a long way to go, isn't it? How long do you think that was? 70 yards? Yeah, 170 by the end of tonight, though, wouldn't it?
I hope I don't have too many more like that.
The key thing isn't how you go when you're running, it's what you do when you get up, and you still had some breath left by the look of it.
Well, I think by that stage we knew we had the game in the bag after that. Fishy's quite happy too.
Must have been difficult for you, Brendan, at half-time in some ways. I know you were 24-0 up, but it was looking a little bit like the Harlequins semi-final, where you got ahead and you must have been worried that Northampton, good as sides they are, would come back. What were you saying to the guys at half-time?
No, exactly. It did start again. They're really a good side with a lot of game breakers, and we knew we needed to take the game to them. So we knew it started at 0-0.
You've said all week, you've said all season, Brendan, that performance is the key thing, and by heck, you gave a performance today. But this thing here, how important is it to actually have that in your greasy paw now as you walk away from Twickenham?
No, it does make a difference. Our club hasn't really won something, I think, for 104 years, and it's fantastic. The supporters out there have just been unbelievable. They've grown and grown at Medeski, and I think for them, this is just wonderful.
I don't know if you drink, but you will never have to buy another drink in Ireland again in your life. You know that, don't you?
That's just wonderful. I agree. This is fantastic.
Right, well, speaking of drink, you are the Powergen man of the match, Brendan Venter, just so your cup runs over completely. A bottle of champagne, and actually, 2 bottles of champagne. We've no idea why, but, have 2 anyway, and enjoy them, crack them open. Have a great night. Well done, Jeff. Well done, Brendan. Thank you. Take care.
So Brendan Venter, player coach, man of the match as well. Dowie, just how much does he epitomise everything about London Irish this season?
Well, just the total spirit. He's, some of the tackles out there were not too legal, but you could just see the commitment on that guy's face. And like he said to Graham, and Graham went to interview him in the week of playing it down. But I tell you what, he was probably right up there at every thought, every day, and they've come out and they've actually blown Northampton away. Absolutely blown them away. They weren't in the races, to be honest.
Michael, I remember seeing you perhaps 4 years ago, or 1998, on a sea of fez heads on that occasion. I'm sure you remember it well, but just sort of how big a feeling is this in a player's career to go forward and win something like this, particularly for London Irish? You haven't won anything for 104 years, as you pointed out.
Well, 4 years ago, Saracens did the same thing, and it was a great feeling, I must say. And to come to this sort of arena here and do it here, it's a wonderful feeling indeed. But also, I think, as Venter's said throughout the season, it's the performance as well. And today, under the microscope, under the toughest conditions, cup final, they've come out and performed probably the best they have all season. It just shows them how well he's prepared them, because he's got them here. Not only has he got them here, but then they've performed when they've got here, and that's the important thing.
The total manner of performance, Mike's absolutely right. For me, Ryan Strudwick would have been my man of the match. I know Venter there because he leads by example. Ryan Strudwick is absolutely phenomenal. He never has a bad game, and today, like I think Miles said, he covered every blade of grass out there. But you've got all the other guys. You've got Sheesby. He's 35 and he likes the camera. That's fine, but probably performs in front of the camera as well. So he deserves every plaudit today. Appleford, I've just been interviewed.
Justin Bishop at the back, Horak. They're all heroes, but for me, it's Venter that just actually has got the best out of them all. He knows how to get prime performances out of all this, and you can see here when the whistle goes. That's what it means to him.
Of course it does.
He's just done so much work to get this club back up and going.
And you can see the team, he's going on, he's congratulating every member of that team, because it's a long season.
Lining up.
They've been there, you know, they've gone to the training paddock, they've worked their socks off, they're probably one of the fittest sides. They've got a lot of rugby left to come, and you know, and they're the surprise package. And on that performance, like Sheesby said, you know, they've arrived on the scene now. They can get better and better.
He's a softly spoken man. Obviously, he gets things out of his players in his own manner. But just a word as well for Conor O'Shea, one of the nice men in rugby, and a big day for him.
Well, it's nice for Conor. Conor's had to retire with his injuries. He's taken on the mantle of director of rugby at London Irish. I think he's called it that. And like he said, he couldn't dream beginning of the season to go to a Twickenham Cup final and win, but to win in this manner, and it's good for him, because you know, rugby union is in a professional it's a total business now, and the more support they get, the bigger the stadia, the crowds coming into the Majeski Stadium will be, and if they keep playing rugby like that, I think there'll be a few more people there.
And it's important for somebody like Conor in his job. It's not the easiest thing to try and attract supportive base from where they have been down to the Majeski, and now with this sort of trophy, that sort of rugby, personalities that are in the team, good players, it makes his job a lot easier to do.
Are they building something long-lasting, do you think, down at London Irish, Dowie?
On that performance, you have to say yes, because it's just the total desire. We see at Leicester, you know, that winning desire, that the fear of failure. Almost Leicester done it 4 titles now. Okay, and that's something. They've got a great setup. They've got a great number of supporters who go and watch them week in, week out. They want the same at the Majeski. They want the same for London Irish. And on the, you know, with the people out there today, I'm sure they'll come along and they will pick the right players. He won't pick, you know, the players that won't fit into the London Irish ethos. You know, they've got to do a certain way. They've got to be prepared to almost die for the club in the training. You know, he lets them out to go and have a beer and 2, fine. But you know, Monday morning, back you come and off you come in the training paddock and you work for each of your mates.
Exactly, and also having played like that, having success, young players want to go and play there. It attracts, having success like this attracts people wanting to go there. Yeah,
that's the difference. You've got to have fun in rugby to achieve things like that. And today, you know, they seem to have fun all year, and they've proved it out there today.
Okay, well, it's been a terrific start at Northampton under the coachingship of Wayne Smith. Not so today, though. He'll be pretty forlorn, I would have thought. He's talking to Graham.
Simon, thank you very much. Wayne Smith, was that a defeat for Northampton or a humiliation?
Well, it was pretty embarrassing with all our fans here. I just think we played against a team with a depth of spirit that we didn't have on the day, and it's something that we've got to aspire to.
Is that a worry from your point of view, that your team can't get to a cup final and show enough spirit to at least compete?
Well, you know, it's a building process. We just got to keep working hard at it. I never promised any miracles, and you know, I'm proud that we got here, but clearly we didn't handle the day well and the pressure well.
How surprised are you at that, Wayne, given the ground it looked like you'd made up in the last few weeks when Northampton were playing very well? How surprised are you that your team turned up today and just didn't even produce their C game, let alone their A game?
Well, emotions are funny things, you know, and perhaps there are a number of players that were too emotional, didn't handle the occasion very well.
Which players do you think, Wayne?
Well, you know, I think that the whole team's got to take responsibility, and myself. You know, I just think that you know, it's clear to everyone that we didn't handle it well. Now we've got to get back to the Premiership and make sure that it doesn't affect the rest of our games.
Do you think, Wayne, that at the end of the day your team weren't very good, or London Irish made you not look very good? I mean, how good were London Irish, do you think, on the day?
I think they were extraordinarily good. I think they certainly played with a passion that overwhelmed us, and we just couldn't get any go forward. We couldn't put anything together. They got points on the board. We gave away some intercepts, which sort of was the nail in the coffin, really. And I just think they're a well-drilled team. Brendan and Gary and Conor have obviously done a great job. They're well rehearsed. As I said before, it's something we've got to aspire to.
Hard question perhaps for you to answer now, Wayne, but you think in the longer run, and stupid as this may sound, losing this game might actually do you some good?
Well, you know, we looked at it as a one-off situation, really, and we wanted to do really well in it. I don't know whether it'll do us any good. We know where we are, or I know where we are, and what we need to do to get better.
But you know more now than you knew this morning?
Probably not. You know, it was just an occasion that we didn't handle well.
Wayne, many thanks for your time. Better luck next time. Okay. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
So the Northampton head coach there talking about the depth of spirit and pointing out the fact that several players were a little too emotional on the day. Who do you think he was talking about, Dowie?
Maybe a chap just after half-time. Matt Dawson was having a go at Budge Penny. for whatever reason, you don't know. But it comes from certain things. I thought that the biggest thing today was the the Northampton liner. It didn't function when Thompson on. It didn't function when Richmond's on. And these things lead to it. They weren't getting it right. They weren't getting the basics right. So the frustration was there, and that blew over just at the final whistle at at half time there. And that doesn't look good. That doesn't look good when you're going in a situation 24-0 down, Michael. I think.
Yeah, it was. And but also for me, there, Wayne Smith there talking about people becoming over emotional before the game and not preparing well. When we looked at it on paper, you think, well, Northampton got all the experienced guys played at test level and all that sort of thing, where London Irish didn't. London Irish, they held it together better emotionally in their build-up and during the game, even though they started nervously, but I think it gave them an edge. And it's a really surprising thing, though.
We did see, though, Michael, just before half-time, the sort of outpouring. It was extraordinary scenes, really, an outpouring of emotion between Matt Dawson and Budge Pountney. Matt Dawson, he'd been there, of course, in 2000, had been a losing finalist there. Do you think that the occasion was just getting to him?
Yeah, I think he was very frustrated there. I think initially he was having a go at referee Steve Landers because they were frustrated at not getting across. And I think Budge Pountney, as captain, has turned around.
To cool it down, maybe.
And Dawson's totally blown a fuse. But straight after half-time, I saw Dawson and Budge Pountney talking together about tactics. But it just shows that
things weren't going well.
That 5 minutes before half-time.
Right. I would have still preferred him. I don't think it would have made any difference to the score, but to get it 3 points on the ball just before half-time, they went for the battering and they couldn't score.
OK, let's hear from two more of the Exiles heroes. Fullback Michael Horak is alongside the captain, Ryan Strudwick, and both of them again are talking to Graham.
Simon, thank you very much. If you come over here and actually sniff Ryan Strudwick, you could smell champagne all over him, covered in it. Who put that all over you? Was that your natural aftershave?
No, Stecky was spraying it all over the place.
How good does it feel to see champagne being wasted like that in such a day?
No, it's very good. Very happy indeed.
What was the best bit of the day for you, Ryan? The best bit of the day?
I think Jeff Appleford's intercept try. I think once I saw him going over that, it sealed it for us. I was really happy after that.
Was that a sense of relief? I mean, at 24-7, did you still feel that they could come back into it and cause you some damage?
You know, any team can come back. We had it against Queensland. We were 26-0 up and then down. So I was never happy until it really got that, and that try really sealed it for us.
Mikey Horak's alongside. Michael, what does it say about this team that on the biggest day of your rugby lives, you produce arguably your biggest performance of the season?
It just proves that we've worked so hard and that we really want it, I think all the guys put in a fantastic effort, and I think it just showed in the end, like 100% effort, and just a collective, like possessiveness, you know what I mean? We were just mad for it, and we were just wanting to make hits all over the place, and I think it told it in the day.
18 months, 2 years ago, you were working in a bank, weren't you? You'd given it up. Rugby had passed you by. How good does it feel now? I mean, if I could have told you then what you see before you now, would you believe it?
No, it's unbelievable. My folks came over from South Africa, Ryan's folks also over, my friends from also came over from South Africa, so it's just all in all, it's just an unbelievable day for us. No, it's very, very nice. On a personal note too, scoring a try is just, cherry on the cake.
Well, we mentioned the try. Let's have a look at it. It's down here now. Not your longest run-in of the season, Michael, but you had to be sharp to get it. Talk us through, Mike.
Well, just basically took a short ball of Brendan there and then basically just set it up, and normally Chris Sheesby is the one there for it. There he, as he picks it up, he didn't manage to get too far, and it just was lying there, and Henty went himself, and there it was, and just lying there waiting, and I just thought maybe just go. I was so happy, man. Just look at that.
You look very happy. In football parlance, that looked a bit like goal hanging to me.
Whoa. I'll have to keep that down in the future, you know what I mean? You have to be a bit more humble.
So what about tonight? What happens tonight? Where do you go? What do you do? When are you hoping to wake up?
Classified. I would have thought. No, I think we're going to have a hell of a time, and we're going to have a good smash, I think.
Ryan, you're going to be there as well, presumably? You're going to have home for an early night?
No, there'll be good celebration. The fans have supported us all the way. We'd like to go and see them now and thank them for their support. We'll take it easy tomorrow and then back to work on Monday.
Quick course of the fields of Athen right now? All together now? Save it for later, boys. Well done. Thank you very much. Well done, Ryan. Thanks, cheers, Michael.
Well, do you think in honour of the performance today, you could either add Springbok, Proteas, South African on the end of London Irish? I think it's been a terrific all-round performance, but summed up there by perhaps these two.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be so embarrassed to sing that song a little bit later on in the night. But yeah, they were great. Both played very, very well today. Ryan Strudwick, inspirational leader. Fantastic. And just, he gets around the paddock for a big man, Dowie. And Michael Horak has improved this season. Outstanding player he was today. And he's just running the ball back. He's a big guy. clearing his lines and popping up and scoring a good little try like that.
He's just got the appetite back, you know, is at Lesson, didn't quite like it, came to obviously London Irish, Brendan Venter had a word, boom, totally different player, and he, I believe he's English qualified as well.
There we go. That'll be good news to Clive Woodward, won't it? Dowie, you do keep across it, you really do. OK, so there we go. London Irish, well, they're getting ready to celebrate, and most of the fans are out there in the car parks. You can almost hear them from here, celebrating from Twickenham. Is that Irish eyes will be smiling this evening. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
You really got me going. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing. Oh yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. You really got me. You really got me. You really got me. Don't ever set me free. I always wanna be by your side.